Good afternoon, everybody. This is Brian Hartman coming to you live from Ferris Plaza in Port St. Lucie at 1859 Southeast Port St. Lucie Boulevard. We definitely have some donuts, some coffee. Come and stop by and see us. We're happy to sit down and talk. We've got conference rooms and uh, nice chairs to be able to sit in, and even an aquarium of fish for you to take a look at. We are back off of hiatus. There's a word for today, hiatus. We were off for the summer, and we are looking forward to getting back into the swing. Today is actually episode number 30, and we are lucky enough to have with us Ilene Rein, a partner and executive recruiter at Marketing and Sales Resources. After hearing many stories of difficulties in finding employment, Ilene developed the program Pounding Pavement 101. A program teaches job seekers exactly how to market themselves to recruiters with laser precision to increase their chances of getting noticed and hired rapidly. Job seekers, in taking Ilene's advice and learning recruiting inside secrets, calls from companies started coming in, interviews scheduled, and they quickly and easily became employed. We are excited to hear more with so many folks looking for positions out there, hopefully, and getting back into the workforce. We're going to see how to easily land the job during the global chaos and crisis that is going on out there. So, without further ado, let's all welcome Ilene Rein.
Thank
Hi.
you for having me tonight, Brian. I'm excited. I didn't know that I would be the first one coming off of hiatus.
We were on a summer siesta, I guess you can say, and with so many people away on vacation during the summer, it just kind of made sense to take a little break. But we're excited to be back, and yes, you are the first one. So, and number 30, episode number 30 on top of that today.
Number 30, and this is the perfect time for something like this because the companies are also back from summer vacation, and that's a good thing.
That is very true. And for everybody that is watching today, if you have any comments for Ilene, questions, even if you just like to stop by and say hello, please drop them in the comments. Shoot us a like, and you can certainly share it with a lot of folks out there. We'd like to get the word out about this extremely important topic to as many people as possible, right? So we're talking about how to easily land a job during the global chaos. And I know that I have some definite things in mind that I want to ask you. So maybe we should just dig in. How about that?
Dig in. Ask me what you like. I'm an open book.
So, a lot of people are hearing out there's just not enough help or good help, for a lot of companies. And it's happening in so many different industries right now. What are you seeing out there as, is that true, or what's both sides of the story? What are we looking at?
Well, and that's the thing. I see both sides of the story because as an executive recruiter, I'm talking to companies and what they're looking for. And then I'm talking to job seekers and candidates and what they're looking for. What I'm seeing is that the companies are looking for that perfect candidate. They're looking for someone that is going to fit that role perfectly. Now, in our business, there's no such thing as perfect candidates. There's no such thing as perfect jobs. So, I think that there needs to be a little flexibility on both sides because on the flip side, job seekers are being told it's a candidate-driven market and they're looking for a certain type of job. They've kind of taken a step back from this job market and said, what do I want out of my life? What do I really want this to be looking like? So they're kind of sticking to their guns as to what the perfect job looks like to them. The companies are looking for the perfect candidate, and there's a mismatch going on. Okay, but also from the industries, the industries that were hit hardest aren't in full swing hiring back yet. So, that's also a problem in terms of the mismatch of skill sets.
Interesting. That's definitely another way to look at it. A lot of people don't realize that, I don't think, out there, what's going on in the market.
Well,
So,
and that's why candidates really need to be marketing themselves. And look, at the end of the day, a job search is a marketing project. It's marketing job seekers to employers, the same way you would market a product to the marketplace.
right.
So you have to learn how to market your skills based on how recruiters are searching. And that's what I teach in my program.
It's awesome. And your program is part of your email address. Everybody can see that down below. Ilene.Rein at poundingpavement101.com. So you can find that at poundingpavement101.com is the website, right?
Actually, on there, I also have a free job search training program laying out exactly how and what candidates need to be doing, what job seekers need to be doing, how they need to be attacking the job market, and how I kind of take it to that next level.
Nice. And that's a free course to be able to take a look at.
Free is always good.
That is amazing. That's awesome. So I guess everybody is interested in hearing, are companies actually hiring right now, Ilene?
They are. As a recruiter, I have lots of jobs on my desk. So I think the companies have realized this pandemic is not going anywhere. We've got to get back to business, but it's a new world. And what does this look like? What I'm seeing is, the companies are still in this hybrid type model. So some people are going to the office, some people are working hybrid, some are being told to work remotely. On the flip side, the candidates, the job seekers, are looking for a remote position, a lot of them. However, what they're not realizing is if it's a remote position, that's opening up the candidate pool. That means you have even more competition for those really great jobs, which means you need to up your game. You need to be competitive in today's market.
That's very true, because now being remote, you can be in Oregon, but doing a job that's located in Florida, for example.
Exactly. You can then get that higher salary that might be paid in New York City. You can be living in Oregon, Iowa, a lower cost of living. But now that's giving the companies the opportunity to open up the candidate pool and search for candidates everywhere. So, that's a good thing and a bad thing. And again, that's the mismatch that's going on right now.
So are you seeing more and more positions available now that are listed as remote, or about the same as before?
It's about the same as before from what I'm seeing. I think the companies, some of them still want employees in-house, especially when they're new, because they want to entrench them into the company culture.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little hard to manage someone when you don't know them at all, get to know them, work with them. However, it depends on the individual company, depends on the individual person.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm seeing is that the companies want people back in-house. They want to get back to business as usual, but you know what? It's a new world moving forward. So I don't think we're going to get back to the old world. I think it's just a new environment.
Kind of a different, maybe a little more of a hybrid, a little bit of both, I guess, right?
I think people have been looking for this for a long time. I think we were headed in this direction. Certainly, we're all used to Zoom calls at this point.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And Zoom meetings. And again, we were headed in this direction, but now we've had to embrace the technology. The reality is it's a global economy. So if someone is working globally and they're taking a call from another country at 10 o'clock at night or at 6 a.m. in the morning, what difference does it make if they're in an office or if they're taking it from home because it's an odd hour? I think the companies have realized that, a professional at home will get the job done, and there's no such thing as that 9 to 5 anymore. I mean, I can't remember the last time I worked 9 to 5. Brian, I don't know about you.
I might have to think way back, but that's been a long time. Yeah.
Exactly. Between our cell phones, between, email, between social media, we're constantly taking phone calls, messages. We're constantly in touch with work. So this is actually offering a lot of flexibility for people. okay, for parents, for non-parents, just kind of live their lives. A little bit of work-life balance is going on.
So you kind of have a different twist on HR world that you're helping the job seekers learn how to be able to present themselves, basically, which is kind of unique. You don't see that very often in the market, right? So it gives them a little bit more of an advantage over some others in the market.
Yeah. I mean, I used to be a marketing director and creative director and a corporate trainer. And I became a recruiter about 11 years ago. And what I saw is that recruiters have a certain way of doing things, a certain language amongst themselves. And if I could just tell job seekers exactly what I'm looking for, exactly what I'm listening for, then they'll get noticed, they'll get hired, the company's happy, job seekers are happy, everyone's happy. So that's when I created my program, Pounding Pavement 101, really teaching those inside secrets as to how to develop a resume that's going to generate calls. Because that's the job of a resume. And I look at about 500 plus resumes a day. So you have about 5 seconds to catch my attention. I move on to the next one. I'm teaching exactly what the recruiters are actually listening for during the interviews.
Right.
And then I'm teaching where the recruiters are looking for candidates, how to create immense amounts of visibility for yourself, how to get noticed so this way you get hired. I have people who are coming into my program who are seasoned professionals, college students, college grads, even high school students as they're applying to college or their first jobs. And I'm teaching them exactly how to market themselves because, again, this is a marketing project.
I would think that the folks that work with you, the students or first-time job seekers or even repeat job seekers, it has to make them feel more comfortable in going out there to look for that next position than if they just do it on their own, right?
This is all in the presentation. How do you present yourself to the marketplace?
Mm-hmm.
And I have people who are looking 9, 10, 12 months. And then they're coming to me, and within 3 weeks in my program, they're getting hired. It is truly thrilling to watch this happen because if they've gone 10 months, I mean, let's talk just starting salaries. And I work with seasoned professionals. Let's talk starting salaries. If the average starting salary is $50,000 a year, and let's say your take home is $4,000 a month.
Right.
If you're out of work for 10 months, that's $40,000 you could have had in the bank.
Absolutely.
So if I can take that 12-month job search and change it into 4 to 6 weeks on the outside, I've never had anyone in my program go more than 3 months. And that was at the height of COVID during holiday season in the suburbs. Okay, that there wasn't a lot of job opportunity to begin with. If I can change it to 4 to 6 weeks, you could have $40,000 in the bank. I mean, that's a no-brainer to me.
Absolutely. Makes a lot of sense and makes the whole program worthwhile to do it.
Exactly. And look, I am not a resume writer. I don't believe in them. I think people know their backgrounds better than anyone. They just need to be taught how to present it based on how the recruiters are searching. I basically reverse engineered the whole process. So this way they understand what it is from my seat. So this way they can get noticed and hired.
So I guess that was bringing up my next question. Should they use a resume writer or shouldn't they use a resume writer?
You know, as I said, I don't believe in it only because usually resume writers are writers. They're social workers, they're psychologists. Mm-hmm. And although they mean well, the resume is really a writing sample. So it needs to be in your voice. But also, they usually have never worked a recruiting desk. So they've never spoken to the companies, never spoken to the candidates, and they've never looked at 500 resumes a day. Okay, so if that's the case, look, I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. I know what works, I know what doesn't, and that's why I'm teaching this now.
Mm-hmm. So it's interesting too, you know, I guess before everything went digital, maybe you could have, crumpled the paper a little bit, so this way a recruiter might pull your resume or something like that. Are there any tips and tricks of that you use in that respect today in a digital way?
Well, I mean, the reality is, and I get asked this question all the time, Brian, is can I have more than one page for my resume?
That's a good one. Yeah.
Okay, and the answer is yes, because the reality is I don't print out resumes anymore. It's not like years ago, okay, where you took your resume to the printer and you had a stack made and then you printed out. No, your resume is a live document. You can be changing it as you go. But in terms of the 1 or 2 pages, the college students are being told it needs to be 1 page. Well, the reason why they're saying this is because the college career centers want to treat everyone equally.
Mm.
If that's the case, okay, they give every student the same amount of real estate. And that's also because as the companies come in to check out the new graduates, they only have X amount of time to go through all those resumes.
Gotcha.
But if you're in the open market, you can look as great as you want to look. And the reality is, I don't print out resumes. So I can go to page 1 or I could go to page 2.
That's
Now, if
true.
you're a new graduate, let's keep it to 2 pages. Let's not get crazy here. You haven't done that much yet. You
Right.
might be fabulous, okay? But let's keep this focused. But if you're a seasoned professional, you should be going to 2 to 3 pages at this point because you have those accolades, you have those responsibilities, and you want to show the breadth of your experience.
Interesting. That's always the dilemma that I hear out there. What if I don't fit it all on one page?
Well, this is an exercise in information graphics. How to present the information so it is easy to be read by me, the recruiter, so I can tell immediately that I want to call you. The resume's job is to generate the call. That's it.
Awesome. Let's take a quick minute here. For those of you that are watching, if you have any questions for Ilene, this has been fantastic information. A lot of good snippets and tips and tricks that we're going over. So don't hesitate to reach out, say hi, drop a comment, ask a question. We're happy to go over them with you. So, the next thing that comes to mind also is we talked about how many pages. Is it important anymore to have a cover letter?
Well, there's 2 schools of thought with that. It takes time to write these cover letters. When
Definitely.
you're applying to so many jobs, look, I look at the resume first, and then I look at the cover letter. The cover letter will give a little bit of explanation and how you apply to the job description in front of you. So
Mhm.
it gives you the opportunity, one more chance to catch my attention. It's a writing sample. This whole thing is an example of the type of work that you would do with the company. So look, if it's a mess, if it's not laid out well, if it's not written well, I'm not referring you. It's that simple. I'm not even getting you on the phone.
Right.
It's the full package. So it's not only the template, it's not only the content, okay? It's not how it's laid out, it's all 3 in combination. So the cover letter, yeah, it's important. And if you really want that job, you want to go that extra step, add the cover letter.
Interesting. Okay, so that actually can be what it takes to stand out in front of others.
In today's competitive market, with the remote positions, again, that's where we started this conversation. You need to do everything you can to stand out.
Very interesting. So now you have the student, the first time interviewee or repeat interviewer, right? That's going out there to look for their next position. Do you think it helps to kind of go through a mock interview before they go out into the field?
I don't believe in mock interviews.
Mm.
And I'll tell you why. I know, because everyone does these mock interviews. It doesn't really prepare you because it's not real. You know in the back of your mind that this is not a real situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I always equate it to, remember when we took the PSATs? all those years ago for us, all those years ago. When you went in and took the PSATs, you didn't go to take the SATs the next day. You got your scores back. You took the looked at the evaluation. You said, okay, I need work on my math section. I needed work on my math section. Okay. And then you studied and you prepared.
Right.
And then you went in and took the SATs. I believe in preparation because the reality is that 75% of all interview questions are the same globally. I was speaking with someone in Belarus.
It's that high, 75%.
75%. So
Wow.
if that's the case, if you know what the questions are, come up with answers before you walk in.
Right.
That's what I teach in my interview prep course, but I don't do it based off the canned answers on the internet because everyone is getting these generic answers, but I teach what the recruiters are actually listening for. Okay, it's a little different. And that's where people have been having such success in my program and they're getting hired because they're going in and they're just killing it. They're crushing it during that interview. They're getting the offers.
That's great. It's also great to hear in 4 to 6 weeks max. I mean, that's something that's really unheard of, I think, out there.
If they're following, look, my own daughter went through the program, okay, and she followed it step by step. She graduated in May. 4 weeks later, she landed her dream job.
Awesome. And that's important too, right? You want to be able to not only find a job, but preferably a job that you're going to be in love with, right? So you can be there for a long time.
Exactly. That's why I'm teaching how to really market with laser precision, because you don't want to be a job hopper. You don't want to get into a company and then a year later you're miserable and you want to leave. Look, you spend most of your hours at work. You want to enjoy what you do. Okay. You know, the saying, you'll never work a day in your life. But the reality is if you enjoy it, you'll be good at it.
Right.
You'll get promoted, you'll get bonuses, get raises, and then you're off to your career. But you've got to know how to do that. You've got to know how to make it happen. And the last thing you want is for this to be drawn on for a year looking for a job, because also then it hurts you on the back end. Because if you haven't been hired in a year, it becomes harder to look for a job because they say, okay, well, what's wrong with you? Why haven't you been hired yet?
That's a good point. Yep.
No one ever thinks about that side of it. So now all of a sudden, look, this is an admin task, this application process. It's boring. It's frustrating when you're applying and you're not getting any response and you don't know how to fix it and you're getting advice all over the place and you're still nothing's working. And now all of a sudden the money is running out. The unemployment is running out. Time is going past. Now you've got that 1 year mark ahead of you. What are you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And, job seekers are up against a hard battle. And that's why I created this, because they just needed some inside secrets. So this way they know how to make this happen fast.
Interesting. So we had one question that came in from Jim W. He's out of Sebastian. He says, since there's remote jobs being presented in the market, does it make sense to expand where you're looking for the job, or should you continue to look locally?
You want to start local because otherwise you're all over the place. Okay. And then you're not quite sure where to work at all. The companies are posting as remote positions. So you can be looking for the word remote in the job listings. Start local, expand out from there. That would be my recommendation.
Interesting that they are putting remote in there. I guess, do you think that that's more of the companies that are, as a company as a whole, working remotely, or do they also put jobs out there that they just don't need to have them in the office?
I think it's a combination right now. I think the companies are realizing that they don't have to have everyone in the office. It depends on the individual position. Look, I place marketing and salespeople. Salespeople aren't working from home. They've been working remote. And if anything, they don't want those salespeople in the office. They want them out on the road meeting with clients. So now it's just the other positions. Do they need all of them in the office 5 days a week? You know what, especially if you're commuting into the city. I did the New York City commute for a couple of years. It's a long day. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
It would have been a lot easier if I was able to work from home. So now they're able to expand that. And look, I was doing 2 hours each way commuting into New York. That's 4 hours saved in my day that I could have been working.
Right.
The companies are actually benefiting from this.
It's a good point. So I guess to sum everything up, should you hire a professional for your job search?
My answer is yes. If you want this to happen and you want this to happen rapidly, then yes. I think in the end, it saves you money, because rather than going 10, 12 months, if we can get you the job that you exactly want in 3 months, saving you thousands of dollars.
It's very true. And again, a lot of people don't think of it that way, but
They don't, because they figure you just put a resume together, you apply, the call comes in, you go on the interview, and you're done. What people aren't realizing is that there are many candidates going on that job interview. And I always equate it again to the college students. Remember the first day of college, they said, look to your right, look to your left. One of you won't be there.
Yeah.
The other person's your competition.
Right.
So you're not the only one going in on that interview. There's going to be 10 other people that they're considering for the position. You need to up your game is what it comes down to.
Awesome. All very good points. So I guess your program, poundingpavement101.com, can be helpful for the person that is just starting today to look for a job, as well as the one that's looking for over 6 months at this point.
Yeah, if they've been looking for 6 months and they haven't found anything, we need to do something different. It's the definition of insanity. Okay, if you're expecting different results by the same activity, it's not getting you anywhere. So why keep doing that? You've got to try something different. We've got to shake it up. So this way we generate activity. My goal is to generate immense amounts of activity, because then we're going to prepare you for the interview, and then you're going to get hired.
Awesome. All right. Well, Ilene, this has been extremely helpful. I know it's going to help a lot of people out there, and there's certainly a lot of folks, employers included, that can definitely use the help in finding good candidates. So appreciate you being on the show today. And before we go, is there anything else that I might not have touched on that you would like to add about it?
I have a free job search training course on my website, poundingpavement101.com. If you want to get on the calendar to talk to me to learn more about this, right below you see gethired.careers. You can type that right into the URL. You can get on my calendar. You can learn more about this. We can, get you hired. There's no reason for anyone to be unemployed at this moment.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, for everybody out there, again, this is Brian Hartman at Pharus Global Headquarters. We would love to have you on the show as well. So if you're interested, you could find more information and my contact info at pharusglobal.com, where we help businesses, whether you are a startup, a second stage company, we help businesses and real estate investors grow. And you can see everything we do in our ecosystem of companies at pharusglobal.com. Ilene, thank you again for joining us tonight. Episode number 30 is now in the books. First one after the big hiatus in the summer.
Thank you so much, Brian. This was fun.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And to everybody out there, thank you for joining us. We hope you have a great night, and we'll see you next week for our Live at 5. That's 5 p.m. Eastern time every Tuesday going forward. We'll see you then. Thank you very much. Have a good night, Ilene.
Thank you. You too.